शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. In continuation of reading Japa book, the fifth chapter, the fourth key from Wherever the Mind Wanders. The Bhagavad Gita 6.26 states, Yato yato nischalati manasa chanchalam asthiram tatas tato niyamiyatad atmanya eva vasan nayet. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Part of applying the third key, determination, is to be determined to bring the mind back from wherever it wanders. We have to be determined to listen to one Maha Mantra no matter what the mind says. By nature, the mind is nischalati, asthiram, agitated and unsteady, and chanchalam, flickering and fickle. It's always prepared to jump without reason from topic to topic. But we have formulated our sankalpa. We have decided to listen. To fulfill our sankalpa, we must draw the mind back to its simple task of listening to one mantra. The fifth key, detachment. Freedom in chanting comes from focusing on the one mantra we are currently chanting. Even if we have chanted hundreds of terrible mantras, we cannot go back and re-chant them. Neither can we know whether we will chant attentive mantras in the future. Therefore, we must chant, detach from past and future, and place all our attention on our present attempt to hear. I remember the first time I heard the Hare Krishna mantra. It was 1970 and I was brahmachari in the Tokyo, Japan temple. I was pacing back and forth on the tatami mats when suddenly I heard myself pronounce a Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I had been chanting for more than 2 years by this time, and my sudden hearing and the power and sweetness of the mantra shocked me. I thought this is why they tell you to listen while you chant. Imagine what it would have been like to have heard all the mantras in the 16 rounds. We focus on one mantra because it is impossible to listen to two mantras at the same time. What to speak of 16 rounds worth of mantras? We are only capable of listening to the one mantra and we are uttering in the moment. Therefore, we have to keep bringing the mind back to simple task of listening. Make a vow to do this, then bring the mind back always. Sometimes devotees who have tried this technique have noticed that their mind wanders during the first half of the mantra and they do begin to concentrate until they reach the second part. Don't worry, catch your mind and allow the sound of Rama to lead you to the first Hare of the next mantra. And be detached. If we find we haven't listened to our first 15 rounds, even if we did not properly hear any mantras, even any one name of Krishna, never mind. We do not have the freedom to bring those mantras back. Neither can we promise to do better in the future. We have only enough freedom to listen to the mantra, starting with the one holy name we are chanting now. There is no point lamenting about the past or worrying about the future. Better to simply hear the one mantra we are chanting in the present. Hearing even one mantra is wonderful. We should know that if we chant one Maha Mantra and actually listen to it, hearing it, we have done something wonderful and our life is already successful. Focused chanting is actually the clearing stage of Japa Nama Bhasa, and the scriptures are full of glorification of such chanting. This is where detachment helps. If we understand how wonderful it is to chant one mantra attentively, then instead of thinking about all the mantras we haven't heard, we will free the mind to focus on a fresh attempt to hear Krishna's name. Be detached. If the mind wanders to other thoughts, bring it back and try again. We have this freedom by Krishna's mercy. Practice of these first five keys will gradually slow the mind and that will make it easier to stay focused while chanting. Although it's true that we need Krishna's grace at each stage, if we hope to advance, we can still use our own free will properly and become determined to hear Krishna's holy names. By our own efforts, based on our faith in the holy name, we should try to listen to one mantra, the mantra we are currently chanting. So I
Good
stop
stuff.
here for today's reading. Yeah. Chapter 5 is completed. I'll just conclude and summarize. So the key, here the fourth key and the fifth key is expressed, and in order to implement the fourth key, we have to be very much familiar of practicing of the third key, that is to be determined. The author is trying to focus on listening while chanting the one mantra, and one should be very determined to perform this action because since the mind is the nature of flickering, which cannot stop for a moment and it deviates our attention, so one should be determined to focus on the chanting of one mantra at least in order to get the full benefit of the japa. So one has to have the sankalpa that one will listen to each mantra when the person chants. It's known that there is no point in crying over the past, since whatever past we have chanted, we may have not done to that extent of focus, but at least we can do at present once we know that focusing in japa mantra will benefit us. As we also do not know how the future will be, so there's no point of being anxious of the future, um, future japa. Sometimes we have tried any other techniques which might have not worked, but here the author has given one of his own experience talking about if we are not able to concentrate during the session of japa, and we can bring it back by connecting the listening to the words Rama and connecting to the first word Hari of the next mantra. That way, slowly we can bring the attention of the mind to hear the words Rama and Krishna and Hari in the mantra. As we every day read about the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra's meaning, one can focus on that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra meaning for every round of one mantra.